Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Teddy Bungle, thank you so much for being first. I feel the Sussex rising. Yes, the Sussex rising. Um, I love that photo of Meghan where she's kind of doing the little twirl in that coat. Oh, I just noticed she's showing a little something. Yeah, she's showing a little something. Anyway, that's cool. Um, let's see. Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. Um, oh, you guys, I need your help. I need your help. Um, who said they were getting me cookies? You know, I didn't forget. Who said they were sending me some cookies? I just got the most beautiful gift pack of Girl Scout cookies. Um, I'm so embarrassed. I forgot. Does anybody remember? I remember they said they're coming from the factory. I'm sending some Girl Scout cookies your way. And then I just go blank there. Anybody help me out? Anyway, I did receive them, and it is the most. I'm keeping the box. I'm keeping the box. It's like a 6 pack, and I'm keeping the box. I'm so sorry I didn't take a photo of it, but it is very, very beautiful. And I yeah, it's a nice keepsake box. It's like kind of like that quality of the As Ever box, but it's very colorful. Colorful like one of those Connie Balmer Switzerland boxes, and yet it's the same kind of stock that they use for the As Ever. So what a treat. Thank you so much. And it's all my favorite flavors, including the thin mint. Um, but yes, thank you so much for that. I'm just so embarrassed. I forgot who was sending them. Um, mm, mm, mm-mm. Oh, come on, you guys. I forgot. Was it Antoinette Kennedy? No. Yes. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed. Anyway, thank you so much. Did it have a card? Oh, you know what? Let me see. Okay. No, it didn't have a card. I mean, there's some packing material, but it doesn't have a card. So I'm so embarrassed. I forgot who sent those. But anyway, I am most appreciative, and definitely I am feeling the love. Okay. Connie, use it to block the Rangers. Oh, I need to go in and do a big cleaning, huh? Well, the way it works is the moderators, they go in and they start knocking those trolls out of there, right? And then I do like the final sweep where I go and permanently rid us of those people. And I just did that today actually. Some of those shorts that I posted. Oh, if you could have saw some of the nasty things that they said. And there's this new trend of Meghan was not invited to the gala. I don't know why anybody believes that. I just don't understand how anybody could believe that. I mean, even if you don't like someone, the idea that you believe that they would just um gather themselves, put on a beautiful gown. You have one of the best stylists in Hollywood prepare you for this night that you were not invited to. Does that make sense at all? Does that make a lick of sense? I mean, just again, I understand that there are people who do not care for Meghan, but if you are a troll and you're listening to my voice, stop it. Just stop. This is ridiculous. And you're making yourself look foolish. You're making yourselves look terribly foolish. You are wasting your time. You could be doing something constructive instead of spending your days and nights on social media trying to figure out if you can solve this case called Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Her Royal Highness Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan has more class. Meghan is the most capable of all the royal women. Meghan is not the yacht girl. That's Kate. Kate is the one who worked on the yacht. Um, as a matter of fact, I would say that we've seen more of Kate than we have seen of Meghan. Um, and this, is true. It is true. Meghan is not the one who stepped off of an aircraft and had her dress blowing over her head. That was the other princess. So you only make yourselves look silly. I'm sorry to say it, but Kate is the one who has been found wanting in her character, not Meghan. So all I can say is just leave it alone because you only cause other people to point out the deficiencies of that other princess. Everything that other princess is lacking. That is what you're causing. So if you care about that other princess, you should stop doing what you're doing. Because when we have to set the record straight, what happens? We have to point out, oh no, that's the other princess, not Meghan. And the thing is, we wouldn't even be lying. We're telling the truth. It's not the truth as we know it, it's the truth as it is. So I don't know why that's so important to them, except they just have hate in their hearts. Hey, Puzzle Dot. Glad you're here. Um, Helping to celebrate Black History Month. Speaking of Kate Middleton has decided that she too would, celebrate Black History Month by doing a um, celebration of Jennifer Lewis's flexibility. And so, for that reason, while she was at her Zumba class, she decided See, she's not all bad, is she? There's some qualities that Kate has, like for instance, being willing to help to usher in Black History Month by honoring Jennifer Lewis with one of those big giant kicks. So good for you, Kate. Just when I thought you were absolutely useless, I see you do have some redeeming qualities. Uh Now let me see. Feels was that um new morning? What am I looking at here? Philly? Philly's new morning? Is that right? Anyway, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Well, I don't know which yacht she was on, but well, okay, let me take that back. I know that she was on a yacht for summer, but I don't know that it was that person's yacht. But the yacht that she was on was someplace that she spent a summer. Um, that's the only thing I know about it. So I couldn't say for certain that it was that person's yacht, but she did work on a yacht, according to the Daily Mail. And the Daily Mail said that she was quite popular on the yacht. True story. She was quite popular. Now, to try to help her save face, they decided to try to write it off as well. She always seemed like she had other things in mind besides working on the yacht. Same thing they did with William when they made that last season of The Crown, or was it the last two seasons of The Crown? They inferred that William seemed like he was not really, how did they say it? Even though he was in it, he wasn't of it, kind of thing. They tried to make it seem like William kind of just tolerated other people and that he barely drank, he barely danced, he barely participated in the parties of his youth, that he seemed to have known that there was some greater calling that he had. Well, it wasn't a calling, he was born into the position that he has. So it certainly wasn't a calling. Anyway, you guys, they do everything they can to try and wipe that big smile off of our faces because Megan has had yet another incredible um, internet breaking moment. And we just are not going to give them the benefit of trying to ruin that for us. Megan's appearance at that gala was a triumph. Do you hear me? A triumph. Every bit as amazing as her appearance at the Fashion Week. Although Fashion Week, I will say, was much more um, of a. It was a bigger surprise, right? And I think it was a greater impact. It really was a greater impact. Um, it just was. It really, really was. Fashion Week was one of the best Megan moments ever. Yes, one of the best Megan moments ever was Fashion Week. And I'm going to throw in there what's another one? Oh, the no, I'm thinking Fashion Week was just the biggest solo appearance, right? If you can think of another one, just throw it in there. But I'm thinking Fashion Week was the biggest solo appearance that Megan had after leaving, of course, Narnia. One of many outstanding Meghan moments. There are so many of them, you guys. I feel like it's an embarrassment of riches. I am spoiled by choice when it comes to Meghan. And it's no less thrilling. That's the thing, is that it is no less thrilling to see Meghan have these incredible moments. I'm just as excited about it now as I am when it first happens. So, and imagine me sitting here prepping for the video that night, and then all of a sudden I saw these two pictures. And I was like, what the what? What the what? And it was just onward and upward from there. So I cannot help but smile just thinking about it. I just cannot help but smile thinking about the huge impact that moment had. So they don't have that. There's no equivalent to the joy that we experience thanks to these appearances from Meghan. They don't have anything like that, and they don't deserve it. Not only do they not have it, they don't even deserve it. I am kind of stalling because I am looking for my Meghan Fashion Week. Oh, and remember how good Meghan looked? She looked amazing that night of the Robert F. Kennedy Ripples of Hope, Ripples of Light, whatever that award was. Oh, she looked so good with that white shoulder, off the shoulder dress that she wore. Yeah. I am here for it. Just so you know, I am really, really here for it. Paris. Okay. I'm not seeing it. But oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. I found it. Now, if I could only share it, that'd be amazing. Okay, let me try that again. I really got to get a better system for loading videos. All right, this is it. Yeah. Oh, oh. Wait. I like this one even better. Give me just a second here. I promise you I got some other stuff, but I'm just in the mood right now. Don't you love the way that I mix that? It kind of starts and finishes in the same place. Yes. Walk, Megan, walk. Oh my Lord. I haven't seen that in a while, but well done. Well done, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Well done. Um, like I said, they just don't have it. And it's got to be frustrating for them. And I don't care. I really don't care that it's frustrating for them. They don't deserve it, especially as awful as those people are. Kate Middleton had an opportunity to befriend a new member of the family. She had the opportunity. And why some of those idiotic people think that it's okay the way she conducted herself is beyond me. The gala from this weekend was all about women uplifting other women. And they are even making comment about Harry staying home. It wasn't a Harry night. There were not so many men there that was not associated with the industry in some way or another. It was really a ladies' night. Just like when Emma had the vegan dinner, it was a ladies' night. Harry had no place there. It was for ladies. Most of them did not bring their partners, if any. It wasn't for their partners. There were men who were somehow involved in the industry, including at least two stylists that were there. Law Roach and, of course, the stylist that Meghan used that night. So, what are you going to do? And, I was thinking about that too. I think it would be unusual for another royal, any other royal, to appear at a function right along with their stylist. I think that would be incredibly unusual. But we're in the US. It's not some horrible stigma. So there you have it. I'm still as high as a Georgia pine because of the fact that we outside. I am still elated by this, and nothing's going to take that shine away. And I'm absolutely in love with Emma Greedy now. I'm Team Emma. I'm definitely Team Emma. All of the crass, nasty comments that they made, who cares? Who cares? Every fashion publication carried the story. They had an opportunity to talk about anybody else in that room, and they chose Meghan. Why? Why did they choose Meghan? Well, they certainly aren't choosing those people. Anyway, I'm going to gush about Meghan a little bit later, but let's get to this. I am so sorry for this jarring image, but um, suspect in the shadows. That is as terrifying as it comes. And again, I wish I could have prepared you better, but this is what's circulating out there. Um, I believe 2 deadlines for the ransom has come and gone, and there's been no movement as far as I know. I um my heart breaks for her family, and there's a man that has been detained in connection as tips pour in following release of doorbell footage. Um, that's what they're saying, is that there's someone who has been detained, and I just pray that her mother's alive. And I'm thinking now that if they have footage of this person with the ring camera or whatever that was removed, then surely they should have a good idea how her mother was removed from the home and potentially in what state she was in. Because the police are assuming that she's still alive, that gives us hope. Experts have pointed to the gun holster, the plant used to obscure the door camera, and lights in the distance left uh, as clues that could prove pivotal to the case. Oh, they actually even have a video. But yeah, I do pray that they sort this out. Very disturbing, very disturbing. And hey, Lex, anybody who is who has had something remotely as curious as this happen in their family knows how painful something like this can be. So again, we do have to pray for the family. This is just devastating, absolutely devastating. Okay, let me look at one thing here. Okay. Yeah, there is a video out there, new surveillance. Yeah, there's no way that this person, even though they did everything they could to try to cover up, um, you know how a person moves. You know the body language, the gait. So it'll be just a matter of time. And as they say, there are tips pouring in. So yeah. I don't know. Why pick a plant to cover the camera? Torch in his mouth. Eyeliner. Um, I don't know. I don't know. That I couldn't tell you. And the man that was detained, is he a relative of some sort? I thought maybe he was a relative of some sort. And then there are people saying that um, the let me get this off the screen. I'm sorry. There are some people that are saying that that is partially the network's fault for having Samantha Guthrie, or is it? I'm sorry, Savannah Guthrie, film a segment with her mother. I mean, she didn't give out the address. She only said what city she lived in, and something like this just was not supposed to happen. I mean, wherever you are, if there's someone who wants to do something like this, there's not a whole lot that you can do to stop them from at least trying, right? And as they say, the perpetrator has only got to get it right one time, but you have to be prepared for your safety every time. So there's no sense in playing the blame game and all that, who shot John and all that kind of stuff. Those conversations can be had later. First, let's find her mom. Mm, mm. Okay, you guys, please don't make me watch this video again because you know I'm going to go back and take another look. Um, well, I'm looking around the midsection and everything, and I don't think so. It may just be, there are some guys that look like they wear eyeliner because of how dark, the hair is around, the lashes are. This doesn't seem like a very well prepared person that he would go and pick up leaves and try to put leaves on the camera. Um, it seemed like you should have. Oh, don't let me start helping people, okay? All right. Um, okay, that's what I thought I heard. The son-in-law. Good morning, Zaquay Farms. So, Gavin Newsom has. Let me see. As many people know, I am a tremendous lover of Spanish. The Spanish, and it is a beautiful language spoken by many beautiful people. Anyway, they said that he made um, that what is it, Bad Bunny week or whatever. Yeah, Bad Bunny Day. Yeah, he named whatever day Bad Bunny Day. I guess Super Bowl Sunday was Bad Bunny Day. So good for Bad Bunny. Yeah, good for Bad Bunny. And I love that very traditional hat that he's wearing. I suspect there's going to be a lot of people trying to find those hats. Those are the hats that they would use in those plantations in Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico. Yeah, they would wear those hats. But I also think it's a pretty cool fashion statement. Oh, look at this. I received my one and only Valentine's Day card. Thank you very much. And as you know, whenever I get a nice card, I take a little screenshot of it and I use the pattern as a background for some of the photos. So that is going to be one of my new backgrounds. So you'll see that every now and again. But yeah, I am loving it. Isn't it beautiful? It's kind of like watercolor. Yeah, I think it's kind of like a watercolor painting that was made into the card. So nice for Valentine's Day, which of course is the 14th, 3 days from now, right? The 14th. So happy Valentine's Day, you guys. In advance, I'll wish you happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, but that was beautiful. It was a nice surprise too. So thank you very much for the Valentine's Day card. I hope I don't have to put out, but I probably would anyway. But I hope I don't have to put out, but I probably would anyway. You know me, I'm pretty easy. I probably would have anyway. Khadija says, "Hi, Baron and Squatties. I've paid attention to the case, and I was watching the YouTuber who was at the suspect's house. He's been released after questioning." Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that update because I have not really followed it at all. Okay. Eric Archibald, the stylist who put together that amazing night for Meghan, he is still on cloud nine, I think, because he's continuing to post. And these were his most recent posts. Let me see. It's kind of small, but I'm going to try to make this bigger so that I can see it better. And yes, I've never heard of Eric Archibald before, but I am definitely following him now because I think he's a great talent. And as a great talent, he deserves to be celebrated. And he knew exactly what our Duchess needed for that night, and he really delivered. Okay, so it says, "Wow, so proud." Oh, I gotta pause it. Okay, it says, "Wow, so proud of this dynamic duo styling. Eric Archibald, custom gown designer, Harbison Studio, and Charlie Charlie in charge. Charlie Chargy. I can't make out what that says, but what is that? Anyway, that's is it Charlie Charlie something? But yeah, so Obviously, he is still excited about this moment, and it's been on there for like 20 hours now. And then, of course, there's these photos that he shared. So that is the designer and the stylist celebrating the moment. Looks like they went out to, I don't think that's sushi, but whatever it is, it looks like they're having a celebratory drink, or perhaps this is an old photo, but apparently they are familiar with each other and they are both very talented. So let's give them some flowers. And this is the last thing that he posted. Meghan Markle embraces old Hollywood glamour to go solo at the 15th per 15, I keep saying 15th, 15% pledge gala. So that is in British Vogue. British Vogue, where members of the royal family are sure to see it. What am I saying? They follow everything Meghan does anyway, so of course they're going to see it. And then there's Meghan with Sandra Vanquer, Vanquer, if I'm saying that correct. Um, this is like the last one of the strike a pose images of Meghan that I found today. So after this, maybe there'll be a few more, but as I get them, I will definitely share them with you. Yeah, as I find them, I will share them. And let's see, Harbison Studio. That was, of course, the designer himself posted the one on the right, and the one on the left. That is just a screenshot that someone took of the um, the closeness of both Meghan and Emma. I love that friendship for both of them. I really do. I love that friendship. Okay. And let's get into this then. I hope that this is the start of something. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. I made a little noise there. Um, I'm a baby boomer and I just knocked over all my medicine. Okay. As a baby boomer, you know I have this and that I take. So, oh man, that reminds me of a story when I was backpacking. I was filling up my pill case for the week, and I was not, believe it or not, I was in my 50s, and I was not the oldest person at the youth hostel. Um, old people think alike, right? So this older gentleman, older than myself, he had came back to the hostel to lay down and take a nap that afternoon, just like me. And told him, I said, I hope I'm not disturbing you. I said, I'm just filling up my pill case. He pulled out this big Ziploc bag full of all kind of medication. He's like, oh no, you can't disturb me. In that moment, I felt like we made a connection. I think we bonded over our middle age medications. Well, anyway, I'm glad that I had that conversation with him because it was his idea for me to make my next trip because I was only going to stay one more night in Portugal. And he was the one who told me to go to Cologne. He said, since you're going to Munich anyway, he said, if you're going to be closer to Munich to meet your friend, why don't you just go to Cologne? And I did. And it was one of the best experiences of the whole trip. So that's what I love about staying at the hostels, is that you meet some of the most interesting people. And if you're older and you think that the hostel is not for you, I'm here to tell you it is. But you do forfeit privacy, and you will deal with people coming in from parties at all hours. But I sleep like a stone. It didn't bother me in the least bit. Okay, so let's do this. This is a conversation someone had with that jerk Jeremy Vine. Oh, this man really tries my nerves.
Hi. First of all, I'd just like to start off by saying, on behalf of the British public, I'd like to formally apologise to Meghan Markle, because in comparison to what's happening now, that woman was not bringing down the monarchy. This looks to me like King Charles has to step away from the throne, because even though Andrew's done this, there's a lot of suspicion on what he knew as his brother, what the late Queen knew, what Camilla knew. She's been in that family for decades. I don't believe the Randy Andy that the press used to call him was just him having flirtations with adult women. No. I believe there was something more to it. I don't know. And there was an undisclosed. Well, I've just read. Yeah, but let's not throw. We don't know. No. Well, we don't know. But he did have that title, and it's not as if nobody knew that he was precarious. I was going to say the book that's. Hang on, Zoe. The book that's out by Andrew Loney goes through a lot, which has been mentioned already. Goes through a lot of the backstory. Doesn't talk about Andrew having sex with anyone underage, by the way, but it does talk about a lot of very, very, very bad and entitled behaviour, and incidentally, what is basically corruption in his role as UK trade envoy, which we haven't even got to yet, where he was going around the world enriching himself. Why are you defending Meghan, though, Zoe, today? Because, let's be honest, the woman ate an avocado. She was told something by her husband, which she felt was kind of racist. She wasn't in the room, but she got labelled with it. You bullied her for 8 years. Said she was bringing down the monarchy, but look what Andrew's done. It's way worse it's a very than good what point, Meghan ever did. It makes Meghan... but my point is Charles needs to step away from the throne and put William on, I think. Step away from the throne. The only way to save the monarchy. All right, thank you. I thought you said step away from the phone, and I was thinking, how's that going to help? Thank you, Zoe. It's a good point. I mean, the Meghan-Harry thing looks like a picnic. Hi. First of all...
there is no Meghan and Harry thing. It is a press thing, and it is a palace thing. There is no Meghan and Harry thing. Meghan and Harry hasn't done anything but try to protect themselves. And that's the part that they love to overlook, is that Meghan and Harry were protecting themselves. Harry gave a year that they did not respond to anything, and yet the leaking and the briefing continued. So they did the Oprah interview just to set the record straight. Otherwise, it was nothing but taking on water day after day. Their ship was sinking from the weight of these allegations that were made, all of these leaks and briefs about what they're doing and how they're doing and where they're doing. And of course, accusing them of making Philip's last days impossible, accusing them of causing trauma to Queen Elizabeth, and all that other ridiculous stuff. And so what else are you supposed to do? You took their guaranteed allowance. You took their security. They had to defend themselves. So they went on the Oprah interview. And what happened? The leaks and the briefs intensified. So Harry wrote a book. And there was also the docuseries. And as a result of that, it kind of evened things out for a little while, didn't it? Harry and Meghan's approval was at an all-time low, and of course, the royal family's approval was at an all-time low, even while the Queen was alive. So I say it was the right thing to do. I have no disagreement with anything that they've done whatsoever, because at the end of the day, none of the people that criticized them has ever had a fraction of the pressure that they have had to withstand for all these years. None of them. And I don't even think that most of them would survive it. None of them know what it's like to have people speculating about your pregnancy, about your children's health, and of course, about your relationship with your partner. None of those people go through that on a daily basis. And of course, I'm not even getting to the part about all of the threats that they have received from white supremacists and deranged people that supposedly love the royal family. I haven't even spoke about that yet. And yet they always have a criticism for them. I think everything that they have done has been absolutely perfect. Given the circumstances, I have no criticism for them, and I never will. Because nobody, and I do mean nobody, on that island has had to deal with such. And you could argue, well, they gave Kate a hard time. Yeah, but it was not rooted in race. There were not people out there saying that she needed to be eliminated. I don't remember that conversation. Let them kick rocks. Keep going on as if Harry and Meghan did something that to that family, the British royal family, and the British media were relentless to them to try to subjugate them. Absolutely. They have done nothing wrong, and there's no Harry and Meghan. This false equivalency that they keep pushing is so irritating to me. Oh, I'm sorry. That was for someone else. Okay. Mm. Well, it seems like a setup. If Charles needs to step down over this, so does Willie. um, but there'll be no stepping down. There'll be no stepping down. That was a conversation that they were having for a long time about, oh, I think it really should just go to William. I don't want Charles to step down under any circumstance because they're both two of a kind. They have both been in on it for however long. And, if William wants credit for making decisions for the family, then let him take partial credit for this because he wants people to assume that Charles doesn't do anything, not even go to the bathroom without William's input. So if that's the game he wants to play, then let him suffer some of the blowback for this. But both of them, they're two of a kind. They're really two of a kind. They're opposite sides of the same coin. You wouldn't be better off with one compared to the other. So, brother, what's going on? Oh, don't he play dumb? This whole it's like he's doing an impersonation of Jimmy Stewart. Well, 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 I It's like he's doing the world's worst Jimmy Stewart impersonation with all that all shucks and golly gee and all. Oh, wow, give it a rest, man. Give it a rest. That's why he doesn't let that lady on there anymore. What was her name? Jasmine. That's why he doesn't let her on there anymore.
We either love to be on one side or royal family, a really polarising subject that we either love to be on one side or the other of. And I think it's really unfair for us to make decisions about what they should be doing and whether they should be coming back. They're a family. If they want them to come back and they decide to spend time with their grandma, then they should do. And the idea that you're calling it could be a distraction and Prince Charles is worried. Well, the distraction proves that beside the Queen, Harry and Meghan are the most popular royals. And so basically,
I think they're the most
you only need to look at
controversial.
today's front pages and the whole weekend to see that Harry and Meghan, if they can splash a picture of Harry and Meghan anywhere with a headline, they will do it. So I'm a producer and I have also worked for Netflix. So I will say this to you. We all say that Harry and Meghan want their privacy, but they want to be in the public eye. They just didn't want to be bullied, abused and harassed by the press. They didn't say that they were never going to come out again and do things on their own terms.
No, they are
shining a light on the Invictus games, heroes and veterans who should have a light shone on them.
You cannot be a royal and get rich, and Prince Andrew's trying to do that, and it's disastrous. At least they've said we divorce the royal family and we'll get rich separately.
Are you really holding them to different standards than the rest of the royal family? Because we have a whole list that we could bring up of Fergie, Andrew and all the rest of them who have tried to use their royal connections to get meetings and business deals for people outside of this country with our government. That you're holding them to completely different standards.
Let's have some calls.
People love them. They're popular.
That's very interesting, yeah.
Yeah, what about Charles with his big fundraisers? Charles has used his position to raise funds, and even if it is for a charity, that charity benefits whatever whims and whimsies he has, as well as it benefits people who work for him, like that Foresight guy. And if you ask me, I'm going to tell you what I think about the bags of money. The bags of money, as far as I'm concerned, is untraceable. If someone gives you a bag of money, which Charles has at least on one occasion accepted a hell of a lot of money in a, what is it, Folsom and Mason bag, what does one do with that money? Do you take it to the bank? Or people that have done favors for you who would rather get paid off the grid? I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm saying it's what could happen if one chose to do that, because you're not using accounts. You are just literally using cash that is untraceable. So if you needed a particular favor, what better way to pay people than with a Folsom and Mason bag of money? Charles profits from his position. But remember, you can't be a royal and make money too. William profits from his position. But remember, he just said you can't be a royal and make money too. It's disastrous. And the same goes for Afro Annie and her family, Zara the Tongue Ring Tyndall, Mike Tyndall. They're making money. Peter Phillips, he's making money. Everybody's making money. And it's not a problem until Harry and Meghan decides that they want financial security. It was a very noble goal. If we remove the public funding, if we remove the tax dollars, the taxpayers' money, the taxpayers' pounds, rather, if we remove that, then maybe that will give them less to criticize us for. And hopefully they will finally leave us alone. We'll leave the country and Will and Kate can have all the headlines, all the glory, do all the work. How did that work out? How did that work out? They haven't left them alone yet. And they never will. Especially as long as Will and Kate are as dull as dishwater. They're just like a couple of dish rags hanging over the side of the sink, just dripping, lifeless. Eventually, it takes the shape of whatever is laid upon. There's no there. Compare that to the Sussex glamour. Huh? Compare that to the Sussex glamour. There's no way that anybody else in that family could have had a moment like this. They don't have it in them. They even have a camera crew over at Kensington Palace, and they couldn't do this. They'd rather go out there and talk about trees and forests and woods and such. This is a movement that supports an entire industry, the fashion industry. Instead of sabotaging a fashion house, this is uplifting a fashion house, putting people to work, celebrating culture. What a pencil head. He makes me sick. Let's see. Charlie have diplomatic immunity until Parliament passed the Removal of Titles Act. Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing that's going to happen to him. Let me see. Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's why they don't invite her on there anymore. And Dr. Shola, she's not welcome to most of those shows. It takes something really, you know, I would say it can't be about the royals. They will not invite Dr. Shola on if it has to do with the royals. It has to be about something else. Because Dr. Shola, after she ran Pierce Morgan off of his show, I don't think that most people want to do a couple of rounds with her if they could avoid it. Okay. The scandal is mostly invented by the press, making up crap and sensationalizing the lies of the unfortunate victim. This is a monarchist, a royalist, a subject of the king who is willing to accept the idea that the royal family is completely innocent. She's one of whoever this account belongs to, he or she, is willing to vilify these very impressionable and in some cases far too young victims. They'd rather assume the worst of them than accept the fact that some very powerful people have exploited these people, these young women have exploited them. That young man that yelled Andrew the sick old man in Scotland, that's exactly what he referenced. He said they cannot get away with this. He said it's wrong. And he was speaking of Andrew. And that's why he called him a sick old man, because there are people that themselves may have been victimized. And by the way, that also exists here in the United States. A lot of those people that voted for that person, the occupant of the White House, they were promised that this stuff would be made available. They were promised that. And that is why they voted for him and for no other reason. I don't know the percentage of people who voted that way, but there are people who want to have this out once and for all, and they don't care who is responsible. They want the responsible people held accountable. And I believe that the governments on both sides of the Atlantic is being very dismissive of what these people are asking for. Now, whatever has them at that point where they feel like they want to seek justice, whether it's because of their own trauma, a family member, whatever the case may be, or just that need for justice, whatever the reason is, they expect some movement. And I'm just afraid that whatever is happening, that they're going to somehow say that everything that we see is AI, or they're going to say that there was no crime, well, at least that there was no organized ring of people, that these were individual cases. They're going to say that some of the people are no longer alive, or they can't identify the person. There's going to be a lot of reasons why this is not going to be resolved. Or at least I'm afraid it won't be resolved the way that it should be. They are already working to dismiss a lot of these allegations, and they're trying to put as much of it on Epstein as possible because he can never be a witness to any of this. Yeah, they're working on it, and they're using the social media. They're using the social media, putting people in these chat groups and such, and using the bots to pick away at all of this information. And pretty soon there won't be anything left. I think they call it gaslighting. But they're good, they're very good at this. You know, I was having a conversation about the whole thing with Gayle King and Kobe Bryant. I was having a conversation about that. And the big defense that they used to salvage the situation for Gayle King, this idea that the clip that they shared of her saying those things about Kobe Bryant, asking those uh, very strange, bizarre questions at the time that she did, they said that it was taken out of context, meaning that what most people saw wasn't the actual interview. And so they used the out of context over and over again. They kept saying it for a few days until people began to believe that she really had done no wrong, right? And I knew right then and there, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go. They're going to, you know, do a little snow job here. And pretty soon, everybody's going to rally to support her instead of the unfortunate person that she interviewed. And that's exactly what happened. Gail became the victim. And the media, they do this all the time. They do this all the time. And it's very frustrating when you see it play out in real time. And it's like sometimes I'm like, but don't you all see what they're doing? Do you not hear that? I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I'm telling you, I listen very closely to what people say, very closely. And I pick the words apart one by one. And I'm like, do you all not see this? So yeah, they're working on it. It's not going to be enough to save Andrew. Andrew's done. Fergie, done. It's not going to save them. But for the rest of the powerful people, they're going to find some kind of way to dispute and eliminate a lot of these talking points to the point where you just won't hear anything about it. And it's going to fade away, I'm afraid. Not to mention that some of the victims are suffering the worst intimidation, absolutely horrible intimidation. These are people from some very, working class and poor families, broken homes and such. And if they had anybody there as a safety net, anyone who could defend them, they may not have gotten caught up in this awful life in the first place. If they had a family to protect them. And so, lacking that protection, what do you think they're going to do if people are threatening them and they don't have a family to support them? Yeah, just like that thing I shared yesterday where the lady said that she, from the thing from Reddit, and the lady said she thought herself to be a well-educated person, and yet every day she's tuning in to see what Meghan has done wrong today. So brother, I um I personally I'd rather leave it to other people, and I'm only speaking for myself. Um I'm going to make sure that they don't try to work Harry and Meghan's name into it. And I'm definitely not going to accept this false equivalency. But something as big as this, and it is huge because of these people that are involved, they are the most powerful people. And I don't know that there's anything that could happen. Um, it's like the president of the United States times 20 or 30 or 40. All of these people are in their own way just as powerful and just as menacing as he is. I don't know what could be done. I can only say leave Harry and Meghan out of it. I mean, we had to watch a man lie about an election. We watched the January 6th play out. There's a lot of things that we witnessed. We watched Barack Obama refuse the opportunity to place a Supreme Court justice. They just said, we're not voting. We're not going to allow it. You don't get to pick a Supreme Court justice this close to election. They just made up a rule so that Barack Obama could not execute his constitutional duty as president. They just made up a rule. And what happened? Donald Trump has put 3 justices on the bench. 3 of them. That's why I said I don't know what can be done. If people as powerful as that have been able to circumvent the United States Constitution, I mean, as long as there's a great deal of public outrage, a lot of things can happen. But what they do is they erode that support for justice. They wear you down. And one of the ways they do that is to overwhelm you with a lot of negative imagery. They will fill your mind with a lot of negative, awful images to the point where you're just like, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. That is one of the ways they do it. Not the only way, but that's one way they do it. It's simple and yet very effective. Meanwhile, there's a shortage of housing and inflation, and we're looking at all this other stuff when we ought to be really, fighting about that, or at least not fighting, but at least, pushing for decent, affordable housing and lower food prices at least. So, but I don't want you guys to think that it's hopeless, because it's not hopeless. I mean, if it was hopeless, how do you explain the Sussex Squad? Because we have done some extraordinary things, and not just for Harry and Meghan, but, for other people. We've done some amazing things, and they just did not bank on anything like the support that they received. By us supporting them, we have supported various charities and other worthy recipients of, whatever we had to offer. And that comes from us supporting them. So it's not hopeless. I mean, we can do some amazing things. But that particular thing, I think we ought to leave it to the, the greater public to deal with it. So meanwhile, the global statesman, Prince William, reveals relatable family reason Kate Middleton isn't joining him on Singapore trip. It's a relatable family reason that Kate Middleton is not with him. But Harry does not go to a gala that was really for women and gentlemen that were related to the industries that they are involved with, the beauty industry, fashion and such, makeup, whatever, skin treatments and all that kind of stuff. These are women entrepreneurs, and that's a great deal of what they focus on, among other things that they're invested in. But it was for women. It doesn't mean that a man is not welcome, but I don't think most of those women brought their partners with them. And Harry was just one of them that did not attend. But the insinuation that Harry wasn't welcome, Meghan didn't want him, anything to try to emasculate him and to make Meghan seem petty and horrible, that was their intention. Yeah, he's there solo. He's there by himself. Oh, wait a minute. They're talking about the Singapore. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. You know what? Updated on November 6th. Oh boy, did I put the wrong thing up there? Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I think I put the wrong thing up there. I'm so sorry, but she's not in Dubai with him or Saudi Arabia, wherever he is. I think he's in Saudi Arabia. She's not with him there. Oh Lord, I put the wrong thing up. I thought this was Saudi Arabia. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the date. It says 2022 or 2023. November of 2023. I'm so sorry. I brought this. Where the heck did I get this from? Anyway, why don't I do this? Why don't I do this? I'll just go here. This is present day. So that is Singapore, I think. Yeah, that's Singapore. You know what confused me is I saw him with the thing on there. Yes, we all know who his plus one is. We know his plus one. Either way, William is going to end up with a beard, whether she shows up or whether she doesn't. He's still going to have his beard with him. Whoever comes along is going. That's so awful. Oh, I cannot believe I did that. So sorry about that. So in that very small print, it says, so now the Royal Performing Seals is doing, and let me see. All right. So now the Royal Performing Seal is doing in Saudi what he does occasionally back home, visiting, learning about, and acting like a 40-something teenager. What is the point of all this nonsense? And don't tell me it's soft power, because it isn't. So John Cornelius is making the point that William has gone all the way to Saudi Arabia to kick a soccer ball or a football. I'm sorry, football. He's gone all the way over there to kick a ball around. Just like when he went to Brazil, he went all the way to Brazil to play volleyball. What is the point of this visit? But I'll tell you what he's not doing. He's not taking any questions about his uncle. This is all performative. This is going to be a slow motion video on social media. This is going to be a Kensington Palace slow motion video. Another demonstration of how much work that he's doing for the people of the United Kingdom. I am being sarcastic when I say that. Now, let me play this little sound bite for you. It's like music to my ears. I wish I could share the actual video, but I just cannot. Okay, let the music play.
But the trip comes at a difficult time.
Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue?
The question was shouted by a journalist. The prince.
Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue? Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue?
One more time.
Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue?
He cannot respond because he's deeply concerned. When you're that deeply concerned, there is no response. And you can tell from the way he kicks that ball how deeply concerned he is. See there? William asked about Epstein on Saudi trip, but it's impossible for him to respond because he's deeply concerned. A talking point that seems like it was written by an AI program. He's deeply concerned, so do not expect him to respond because the man is deeply concerned. uh, well, thank you for seeing me. I know we are reputationally awkward. Well, I mean, when you have a bone saw mounted on a placard on the wall to remind the world how someone disappeared from a consulate or embassy. Yeah, when you have a bone saw, something that was popular during the Civil War, as there was no antibiotics or anesthetics, um, of course, reputationally speaking, things are a bit awkward. So, yeah, I mean, what do you expect? This bone saw of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Whoa, this bone saw of mine. Ba-boom, boom, I'm going to let it shine. Ba-boom, boom, this bone saw of mine. Ba-boom, boom, I'm going to let it shine. What's it all about? Khashoggi. That is terrible, you guys. Make me stop. Make me stop. Oh, I did not see that. I did not see that. Great eye. I did not see that. Lord have mercy. I thought that the big story was the bone saw mounted up there on the thing. Hmm. And why is William wringing his hands? Is that because he's afraid he might lose one? This is being deeply concerned, right? This is also being a global statesman. And what else do you think this means? He's deeply concerned about the victims. He's definitely a global statesman. And I don't know what else he's doing there. But he is there on behalf of the British government. That much is true. Oh, look at the floor. Look at the floor next to the guy's foot there on the right side. There seems to be some stains on the floor. Do you guys think that that is fruit spread? Do you guys think that's fruit spread or what? Do you think that that he's ordered some fruit spread and it kind of got away from him? Remember, he's the one that presented those earrings to Will Not and Lizzie. Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, that's right. And didn't that guy take his relatives hostage and kept them at some like palace or hotel and they were tortured until he figured out who was plotting against them or something like that? Is that the same guy? Oh, well. Well, this is a brilliant illustration, whoever made this. Oh, thousands of them. Okay. Oh, you know what? You're making an excellent point. When it was about whether or not it was a racist family, he couldn't wait to comment. This is Kate. She doesn't have William around. So it's kind of like when you reboot your electronic device, it just kind of goes blank for a little while. Well, I guess she's in reboot mode and looking for direction or something. But anyway, she has her hands out in front of her lest she should trip over something. At least she's got her hands extended in front of her to break a fall. Actually, she does that all the time anyway, doesn't she? Now, Jenny Bond. Let's do Jenny Bond.
It was one of your very own who had shouted out the question. I mean, as a reporter on the road, when there's a big news story running, you do feel a pressure to ask the question that everyone wants an answer to. But it's a pretty mean thing to do. You are absolutely right. I mean, I don't know how you would feel if someone kept popping up behind you and saying, you know, GB News is rubbish or something. You know, it must be damned annoying. And the royal family are quite understandably peeved about the whole thing. Beyond that, they also, I must say, they have in all their statements said their thoughts are with the victims, not so much with themselves. Having said that, yes, clearly they're worried about the damage to the monarchy that this is doing, and it's continuing to do it. The questions are growing, and I'm not sure they're going to go away. I'm not sure the palace have done enough.
Right, well, go on, talk to me about that then. What more can they do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought that, you know, when they forced the ex-duke to give up his title of duke or not use it, and then they stripped him of all his titles, and then they booted him out of his house, I thought this must be it. What more can they do? But I'm now coming around to the view that perhaps we do need a public statement of some kind from the king saying, yes, he has exerted pressure on his brother to cooperate with the American investigation into Epstein, that he has told Andrew, perhaps, look, if you don't say what you know, what you saw, protest your innocence by all means, but say that you were there and this is what you saw. Give the evidence. If you don't do that, then I'm not prepared to keep you for the rest of your life in a house in Sandringham and pay all your bills. That's, I'm wondering, if what he should do.
Well, I mean, the other thing is just the house, isn't it? I mean, actually, he could not do any of that. He could not give him a house on the royal estate. He could not presumably give him servants and pay all his bills. I mean, that is something he could do now, isn't it?
Yeah, that is an option, but he's decided because, you know, this is not only the monarchy, it's the family, and it is his brother. And although, you know, I think he is reviewing his relationship with his brother, which was never particularly close, I think he feels an obligation for Andrew's physical safety because he does present a security issue to the authorities. He must have some protection. And also his mental well-being. I mean, there's no doubt Andrew is under enormous pressure, and many a man would have cracked already. I've heard reports that he's been very morose at Royal Lodge, very depressed. And yet that's not what his behaviour shows. He's looked quite cocky riding around on his horse, waving to the crowds. And I think that did impress on the palace that perhaps it was best to remove him to Sandringham sooner rather than later. As it was one of your very own who had...
Well, they're worried about Andrew's mental health and well-being, but not so much the Sussexes, not so much Prince Harry. They're worried about his physical safety, but not so much Prince Harry. Yeah, they're worried about a lot of things, But they don't worry about Prince Harry, who actually contributes a great deal on both sides of the Atlantic. As a matter of fact, contributes a great deal for the entire veteran community. I mean, what better soft power than having a British prince of the realm representing the Invictus game, something he founded himself, by the way. And when it comes to the environment, Travelers, something that has dwarfed both Charles and William's environmental concerns, it has dwarfed it. Trillions of dollars of corporate participation. If you were to add up the size of these corporations and the amount of influence that they will have when it comes to carbon emissions, they have dwarfed, quiet as is kept, Harry has eclipsed both of them. So much so that the tabloid media rarely acknowledges it. Harry's influence is so great that William decided to scuttle his plans to go to New York. What was it, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? He wanted to go to New York, but when he found out that Harry was going and that Harry would be meeting with all these people, he decided to stay home. Harry's the real global influencer. And all of the people at the palace, all of the media, they know it. That's why they was praising Harry for his last trip over there. They were praising him. Oh, there's the old Harry. Wish it could be like this all the time. William, not so much. Kate, never. Charles, rarely. The biggest crisis the royals have faced in a lifetime, here's what they should do and why doing it will bring down the monarchy. I believe this is a short one.
The monarchy is now facing possibly its worst crisis in living memory. We have Andrew facing multiple accusations with credible evidence around corruption in public office and, of course, various allegations of sexual offences, including trafficking. And what we're hearing from the palace is pretty bland cut and paste statements of, yes, we'll cooperate with the police. Pretty much bare minimum of what you might expect from anyone really, particularly the head of state. From William, we're concerned, we're thinking of the victims, cut and paste, word for word, what they said last year. No sincerity, no personal message being delivered by any member of the royal family. Now, what they really need to do, if they want any hope of salvaging this situation, is for Charles and William themselves to camera or in a press conference to stand there and say, clearly, the police need to be free to investigate whatever they need to investigate without any fear or favour. They shouldn't worry about whether they're going to have their careers harmed or anything like that, and that they can have full access to all of the documents and emails and laptops and so on in the palace, in Royal Lodge, in wherever they want to go. They should be free to go and investigate and follow the leads and come to their own conclusions. That's what needs to happen. Now, the reason why I don't think that's going to happen is because I think that will bring down the monarchy, because I think that evidence will point right back to William and Charles, because it's not credible to think they didn't know about this years ago. It's not credible to think that they weren't briefed, that they didn't have access to information held by the FBI and the CIA through diplomatic channels, that they didn't have access to evidence held by the Metropolitan Police or by the civil service and so on, they would have been briefed because they wanted to know what was coming down the line and what risk they faced. So it is a significant problem. We've seen a lot of conservative and royalist commentators saying that this is a huge crisis for them, one which they may not survive. I very much hope that the monarchy doesn't survive it, and that those that are responsible for criminal behaviour are brought to account and held to the same standards of justice as everyone else.
Well. Graham Smith is saying, open the books, open the files, truth and reconciliation, and so on. But as he said, it might cost him the monarchy. It may cost him the monarchy. It's a double-edged sword. Say nothing and hope it pass, or beg forgiveness, acknowledge and hope that people will be forgiving. I think that if they were just truthful, if they were truthful with the public and do what they are contemplating, put it all on Queen Elizabeth, they can distance themselves from it and they might survive another day. All they have to do is blame the senile old lady. All they have to do is say she wasn't altogether there. That's it. And they can be done with it. Charles is very indecisive. He is going to wring his hands and him and haw and try to weather the storm. William now has to downplay this idea that he was partially in charge of everything. I wonder how much he's going to say every decision that has been made since his father has been king. How much more of that is he going to claim to have had a hand in? Yes, and wasn't Epstein employed by Queen Elizabeth in some way? Didn't he handle part of her financial portfolio? Do I recall that he was somehow dealing with their money offshore, something or other? Hazel. Ain't this a big mess? You know, guys, a while ago, I couldn't even talk about this because they had demonetized my video and refused to monetize it. But now that it's such a big story, we have a little bit more freedom to discuss these things. But that's how it is. Sometimes you are not able to discuss certain things. You have to speak in code and riddle and all that nonsense. Andrew was a trade ambassador and he looked in Mummy's red box of state papers. They thought saying Andrew was anguish would get people to back off of them. But that's not going to happen. Yeah, isn't that human nature though? Once there's a taste of blood, you know, it's kind of like with sharks. Once there's some blood in the water, once there's that stimulation of a splash or a dive, just like with alligators and crocodiles, once you disturb that water, all of a sudden they just start working their way towards you, mouth wide open. Yes, the old bone saw. Well, so Professor, let me see, what do we have here? The Professor Dr. Monica Doberstein says, Graham, you have seen that if King Charles III comes to the celebration, the American movement announced a fierce counter campaign against Charles's image and warns him against coming. It will be the most degrading weeks of the king's reign. And of course, that's contributing to what she mentioned before that. If Charles came to the 250th United States anniversary, he would stand on a stage while Trump presents himself as the victor of history. Not the Republic would be celebrated, but Trump as a person. The revolution would become a backdrop for self-promotion. Charles had better stay home. That man better stay home. I don't know who's advising him, but there are people in the US. I know our protest is not as big as the ones that they have in, say, France. And I don't mean by numbers, I mean by impact. Most protests that we have do not have a big impact on policy or law. It just doesn't. As what's his name said, what was that guy? The one that made bowling for Columbine or whatever. In France, it's the government that's afraid of the people. In the US, it's the people that's afraid of the government. So we just don't have that type of impact, no matter how big the protests. We just don't. However, I have to say they did manage to get ICE out of a few of these cities, but aside from that, our protests don't seem to have the same impact. But it will be embarrassing for Charles if he shows up, because there's going to be huge numbers of people that will be out there protesting, and whatever favor that the royal family hopes to have here in the US amongst a lot of working class people, that is going to really set back the popularity of the royal family in the US. So if that is important to them, they'll stay home. He's not his mother. He's not Queen Elizabeth. He's not the grandmother of Western civilization. And people are not going to take to him in the same way. He's the one who drove Diana out of her country of birth. He's the one who divorced the closest thing that I've ever seen to a saint in my life. He divorced a saint. Diana's popularity is still incredibly high in the United States. It will be self-sabotage if Charles decides to come over here, especially with all of this. What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours. What was sun and the flowers? where there used to be rain. Stay home, Charles. Stay home. It's for your own good. Yeah, and he cannot do that stuff that he does in the Commonwealth. People are not going to give him, you know, that type of deference that he has been able to receive in the Commonwealth. There's not a whole lot of deference here. He's not young. He's certainly not attractive. He has that unfortunate silhouette of childbearing hips. It's confusing to see him with that cherry lip gloss, one hand in his pocket, the other hand looking like a catcher's mitt. There's a lot of things that's going wrong for him. Visually, he's just not that likable. If we want to see a Hobbit, we'll watch Lord of the Rings. Right? If we want to see a Hobbit, we'll watch Lord of the Rings. Somebody make me stop. I shouldn't. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Mario Apanya. I'm so sorry if I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, welcome. It's been a while. Thanks for being here. So, the royal family as a whole, favorability. Now, let me see. What is the date for this one? This one is as of March 2023, right? As you can see, in March of 2023, favorability was 47%. Now, this is a Ipsos poll, not the other one, not the YouGov, but Ipsos. How favorable or unfavorable are your opinions and impressions of each of the following members of the royal family? But this one is a royal family as a whole. So 47% favorability. And this is why they say underwater. If you are not above 50%, you're below water. So, yes, 26% has declared unfavorable, but 25% neither. They have no opinion about it. They're not feeling strongly for it or against it. But even though you have the majority of the support based on that pie, you don't ever want to be below 60%. You don't want to be below 75% if you can help it. 72, but 47% favorability? That's when you hit the panic button. You see, YouGov, we have called that the emotional support poll because the YouGov poll is a poll that the royals favor because it helps them look amazing. You think they couldn't put a foot wrong if you look at the YouGov, but how do they pose the question? And who do they pose the questions to? Oh, yes. Yes, I do. Let me see. Where is she at? Harry's no monster. And Camilla, She's the wicked witch of the devil. Oh, man. Oh, Lord, where is that? Yeah, I know I have it. Give me just a second. I don't mind watching that again myself. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm doing that wrong. Let me do this. And I love Prince Harry. Oh, you know, it's been so long since I shown that one that I am having trouble finding it, but don't despair because it's certainly not impossible. Camilla is spelled with 2 L's, not 2 I's, right? That would be the problem. All right, I got that settled now. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm still not seeing it. I hope I didn't delete it. That would be really awkward if I did. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm not seeing that one. That's too bad because I love that video. Oh, man. Okay, let me try one more thing. Please don't tell me I lost that video. Okay. Yeah, I think that one is done for. I'm sorry. I don't see that thing to save my life. How could that be so? Okay, I'll try it again later if I can find it. The Wicked Witch of the Devil. That is funny, though. And Camilla, she's a Wicked Witch of the Devil. How could I have lost that? It's like one of my favorites. Yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, that's so strange. I don't know what I did with it. Okay, moving on. Moving on. Oh, Harry should be king? I don't think that's it. Yeah, I don't think that's it. I'm pretty sure it's not. I thought it was under um, the book because of Harry's book. That's how I usually found it. And unfortunately, I think I may have deleted it in some kind of way or lost it somehow. But that was a good hint, but I just know it's not the right one. Yep, that one is not the right one. Unless it was Harry book, but no, I don't think that's right either. But it was something book. Wow, and it is really gone. That is crazy. Why would I lose that? How could I lose it? Okay. So, this is the more recent one, this one right here. And let me get this stuff out of my way so I can see it. Almost half of Britons think it would be worse for Britain if the monarchy was abolished in the future. On balance, do you think it would be better or worse for Britain in the future if the monarchy was abolished, or do you think it would make no difference? 47% says worse, same as it was in 2023. 25% says no difference, and 21% says better if abolished. Now, what is different about that number? Does that add up to 100? Does that even add up to 100? I don't think so, does it? Where's the rest of the number? Let me see. How is that different from the last one? 26% unfavorable. And here you would say the same for the 21% says abolish. Same thing, I would say. 25% says no difference. And here it was 25% said neither. So what happened to the rest of the people? That's a deficit of what? 26. I'm sorry, 46 and 47. Where's the rest of the numbers? Is that like inconclusive, or where does that go? You know what I mean? This is also an Ipsos poll, but where's the rest of the numbers? I don't get that one. But it's like, it's incomplete. Not that there's a big enough number that it matters, but I'm just curious. So the Republic says support for the monarchy has fallen to just 45%. That is their own polling. They do pay for the poll. They don't do the poll themselves. They use some of their funding to pay for polls. And their polling says 45%, not 47, but 45%. So, breaking. Amidst the Andrew scandal, the monarchy's support has dropped to just 45%. The royals are losing their legitimacy. Charles and William can't keep dodging accountability. Andrew can't keep evading justice. And as you know, Graham Smith is the head of Republic. He's their leader. And best of all, this has absolutely nothing to do with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This is all on the royals themselves. And it's all because they are not using good judgment when it comes to this Andrew situation. And as Graham Smith said, it would be highly unlikely that Charles and William were not briefed on exactly what the authorities have in terms of information about Andrew. What is the likelihood that they were not briefed? Not very likely at all. They would have to know it. So it's a huge misstep. That's what it is. It's a huge misstep. And toward the end of the Queen's reign, Queen Elizabeth, it's very clear that Charles had taken the reins of power. But what did he do with that power? He only made a bad situation worse. Yep. So there you have it. Okay. That ungodly family brought this nightmare upon themselves. These people are treacherous. Hey, sunshine. Sunshine on my shoulders make me happy. Sunshine. Oh, how do you know that it's over, you guys? Anybody want to take a look at this and take a guess? How do we know it's finally over for the Royals? When is it officially over? I'll wait for your answer. How do we know it's over? I will wait for your answer. Oh, you like that, huh? You can say it. You can say it. Yes, it's over. The chips are down. Pity all our bridges crumbling down. Somewhere we lost the key. So little love for you and me. And it's clear to see. Too much, too little, too late to ever try again. Too much, too little, too late to ever be a friend. Yep, it's over. Thank you so much, Sunshine. Is that because I sang or is that to stop me from singing? Either way, I'll take it. Either way, I'll take it. Oh, you like that song? Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams. Yes, for those who don't know, it's over when the fat lady sings, and she is singing her heart out. So when the fat lady sings, they're done. They are done. Stick a fork in them because they're done. Hey, Sandra, I almost forgot to say hi. Valrich, welcome. Oh boy. And there's this. Um Now Pierce Morgan, Hoghead Pierce Morgan, has been given this lady, and I say that loosely, has been given this lady a great deal of airtime where she can spew out all levels of misinformation. Yeah. Um, Lady Victoria Hervey. Um, she's one of the people that has tried to blame and shame the victims. And Hoghead said that he's had enough of it. I don't know how much of it was grandstanding or how much of it was true, but here goes.
Have been in a position where I have been able to be vocal, and that means that I've had a lot of people reaching out to me with information. A couple of months ago, I had a British girl reach out to me, and she said that her and her friends met Jeffrey Epstein in Virginia.
Oh, I decided that was. Let me just get to the ending part.
You think it's fine to smear all of them? You admit it. You proudly admit it. And I think it's
Why
shameful.
would I feel sorry for people that are liars?
We now know from these documents just how disgusting the scandal is, and yet still you come on shows like this and you're still in total denial for reasons that completely
can we talk about the quality of girls? So Anushka Georgiou as an example, you know what she did? Like this is...
Yeah, that was pretty much the entire conversation. That is what she has brought to the table time and time again, is that there's something deficient about these victims. However, there is a man, what state is that? Nebraska? He's 32 years old, and after graduation, he began seeing a student that is 18 years old. And guess where he is right now? Guess where he is? Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Now, if he was not her teacher, I would not even be bringing this up. But because he was her teacher, right? And this relationship supposedly happened after graduation, and they do have all kind of text messages that back that up. It does not matter. He had power over her. Right? And there's a law within that state. And I believe the law is that for 6 months after graduation, you are not able to have any type of relationship on that level. You just cannot. It is against the law. And again, I believe that's the state of Nebraska. So while Lady, what's her name? Lady Victoria is trying to point out all of the things that makes these victims unreliable, unviable, impossibly victimized. Even though she's saying that, tell that to that teacher that is locked up as we speak. Tell that to him. Also, those types of laws vary from state to state. There's no uniform law across the 50 states about such things. I don't know if she's aware of that. I'm sure she is. But she's been out there going to bat for these people for a long time. And even Lady C actually went on television and nearly got herself canceled. As a matter of fact, didn't she get canceled from something? Some things she wanted to do, she got canceled. It was some event she was supposed to host or whatever. And after she went on television and blamed and shamed the victims, they said, "Oh, no, sir or ma'am. No, sir or ma'am, you're not able to do this event." They clipped her wings. Hey, Monique, I thought I saw you there. Thank you so much for being here with us. Yeah, they clipped her wings. So this is what Lady Victoria does. She gives cover. As a socialite, she gives cover to some very despicable people. And even though she's no spring chicken, she still looks relatively attractive and has not aged out of the system yet. As a matter of fact, I don't know if there is an age limit for someone to do the things that she does, which of course is party and celebrate and dine with some very powerful people. But it's never about the victims with her. It's always protecting the uber rich and powerful and wealthy. Yeah. She's definitely in his corner. Yep. She knows him very well. And who knows to what extent she has been doing favors to him over the years. But as a woman, what does she get out of it? What does she get out of this? It is so sick. Do you hear me? Sick. It's sick. Now, about Hoghead, let's delve into Hoghead. While he's sitting up there trying to show some type of moral clarity, Piers Morgan wants a final showdown with Harry and Meghan. He thinks it'll be good for him and them. Get it off their chest. He thinks they're both delusional and as bad as each other, whatever that means. Little tip, Piers, if you're going to chat crap, you'd best be squeaky clean. Well, what are they talking about? Is that Piers Morgan with Weinstein? Piers Morgan with a couple of other people I don't really recognize. And of course, Piers Morgan with, wait, is that Ghislaine Maxwell? Yeah, that's Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay. I should have been clear. I deleted it. It was getting too much. And frankly, I don't like letting trolls win. So there you have it. What else about Piers? All about Hoghead Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan continues to doubt Lady Gaga's claims after open letter from Survivor. What did he do? He harassed her on the public airways, doubting her and everything. And if I recall, by the end of the day, after all this doubt and everything, she gave him an interview which is exactly what he was hoping would happen with Meghan. That would have been a huge boost to his career if he could have badgered Meghan, harassed Meghan enough where she would just throw in the towel and give him an interview, and everything would have gone away. He would have been on her side more often than not. And that just goes to show you the type of character that Meghan has, that she did not give in to this. But that is a tactic of Piers Morgan, is to literally drag a person's feet under the waves, to keep pulling their head beneath the water until you shout, okay, okay, whatever you want. That's how he likes to play it. The other thing is, Piers Morgan has a talent for making everything about him. He's the victim. He turns everything around that he's the victim. He is a wealthy white man who just cannot get a break. Piers Morgan says he still doesn't believe Meghan Markle. Well, that's the thing that cost him his job on GB News, Good Morning Britain, or what? No, Good Morning Britain. That's what cost him his job, because of the complaints that they received. What he was doing was very dangerous. You never, ever, if a person says that they have been struggling for a reason to live, rule number one is you do not challenge them. And that's exactly what he did. No matter what you think of that person, that is a big no-no. And for someone on television, that's even worse, because it's not so much that you can damage one person and ruin a family. There's multiple people that are in very fragile states that could latch on to that type of denial. And it could cause big problems. So you just don't let a person get away with that. And they didn't. They did the responsible thing, and they took him off the show. And for that, he was absolutely furious. He was so upset, Sharon Osbourne lost her show. He fired himself, and then she fired herself. Both of them walked out of some very well-paying jobs. Nobody told them they had to go. They just got up and left. In Piers Morgan's case, he set a land speed record for a mammal on 2 feet. I don't have to take this. And he just strutted out the studio. Problem solved. And then what happened? The next day, after being on the phone all night with hog-head Piers Morgan, "Don't you dare cry. You better not cry. Who told you you could cry? You better not cry." Yeah, she went on television and started telling people who could and who could not cry. And what happened? She lost her job. Just like Piers Morgan, she fired herself. Nobody even got a chance to say anything to her. She fired herself. I'm like, what is it about these people firing themselves from a job that nobody told them they had to leave? You better not cry. You bet not cry. He done got her fired. Ain't that a trip? He done got her fired. All the way in California, 5,000 miles away, he done got Sharon Osbourne fired. Ain't that a friend? Piers Morgan compares himself to Nelson Mandela. TV presenter says his battle for free speech is similar to ex-South African leader leaders struggle against apartheid. And then what happens? Well, it wouldn't be Piers Morgan if he didn't contradict himself. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will present a new Netflix documentary series inspired by Nelson Mandela. Okay, they're presenting a documentary. And what does Piers Morgan say? Comparing themselves to Nelson Mandela is so horribly insulting and disrespectful. He was incarcerated in a 6x6 cell for 27 years. Wait a minute. Wasn't he the one who compared himself to Nelson Mandela? Are you serious? At least there's some African blood over there with the Sussexes. I don't think anybody from Africa is claiming Piers Morgan. And the thing is, the docuseries, if you will, what they presented had nothing to do with them comparing themselves to Nelson Mandela. I don't know where he got that from. Where in the world did he get a production from Nelson Mandela's family, which is what it was? The Sussexes did a favor to the Mandela family by presenting this series that was inspired by his life. It had nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. And yet this pompous ass says comparing themselves to Mandela is so horribly insulting and disrespectful. Did you not know that it wasn't about that? That was his tweet. And I want you to look at the profile picture that he used. He could not get the Queen to speak to him directly, but he wanted to be photographed with the Queen. And in all the years of his so-called journalism, this was as close as he was able to get. He just kind of started lurking around her, hoping that someone would have line of sight and able to get him in a photograph, not with the Queen, but near the Queen. Now, say what you will about Betty, but she had more taste or better taste than to talk to him. Which, by the way, wasn't he the editor that allowed a reporter to enter service at Buckingham Palace and photograph the Queen's quarters and her food tray and such? Wasn't that hoghead Piers Morgan that had the footman hired at Buckingham Palace? Piers Morgan, breaking news, tripped on a small step in a London hotel restaurant, fractured femur, so badly I needed new hip. Recovering in hospital. Crutches for 6 weeks. No long haul for 12 weeks, meaning, of course, no flights. New Year off to a crackling start. I blame Donald Trump. Whatever, punk. And there he is. There he is, scooting along. There, but for the grace of the devil, goes hoghead Piers Morgan. Yep, there he is. Down but not out. So he joins the ranks of other people that the ancestors has dealt with. Yes, the ancestors, what could I say? Figuratively speaking, the ancestors threw them into the spin cycle and then took them out so that they can dry off. Yep. A little worse for wear. I don't know what this is about them smashing bones. Hoghead broke a femur, and that old I almost slipped and said something, but that fossil on the right side there, that fossilized specimen, actually shattered. Her entire pelvis shattered. Now, I'm starting to think that that pelvis has more miles on it than that 1978 Ford Granada I used to have. That pelvis got more miles than the Lusitania before it sank. Yeah. Mile after mile of wear and tear. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. It's time to make Go Bandit run. Well, they're thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana, and we got to get it there no matter what it takes. Yep, more miles than a long haul trucker. It's the speed bumps that'll get you. Loading docks, speed bumps, curbs, driving through the mountains, brake failures, you name it. Or who knows, maybe the clutch got stuck. But something mechanically has gone wrong. And, well, she's still recovering. Tell you what, though, I would have loved to have been in the operating room when the doctors had to go down there and sort it all out. I'd have loved to have been there just to see if there were any surprises. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Ain't that what Jim Neighbors used to say? Surprise, surprise, surprise. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Oh, well. I believe, oh no, I can't say that either. Never mind what I can't say. And remember, it wasn't so long ago that Piers Morgan was in the hospital fishing for sympathy. And Ruth Riles said what I believe we were all thinking. Don't get better soon. I hate you with a passion. Oh, Lord, I am going to build a shrine to that lady. I am going to build a shrine to her. Yep. What's it all about, Piers Morgan? In there fishing for sympathy. And of course, he joins the ranks of this little spot of bother. Remember Eamon Holmes? I forgot what happened to him. But if he ain't on crutches, he's using one of those walking frames. If he's not using a walker, he's in a wheelchair. It seems like he rotates from one to the other based on the level of sympathy that he's hoping to garner. It seemed like all of this started happening when he got in trouble with his income tax, right? Whatever tax problems he had, that's when it seems like he took to a wheelchair. I'm not saying that it's related. I'm just saying it's a coincidence, a huge coincidence. This is the person who said that Harry should be thrown off of the balcony at Buckingham Palace, that he should be dangled from the balcony. Oh, that was the height of humor, wasn't it? But who's walking around looking like a retired crash test dummy? Eamon Holmes. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, didn't he get shingles or rickets or something like that? Didn't he just spontaneously break out or well up or something? Something happened to him. I can't remember what it was, but all of a sudden, he was unable to function or something. I don't know. Something has swelled up. See how his eye is closed up? Now, I don't know if he has a bookie, but something closed his eye up, right? Something shut that eye completely up. Too bad it didn't work on his mouth. Yep, but something shut him up. Yep, he was down, but not completely out. And he's still able to go on television and do his job. But he really has it in for the Sussexes, especially Meghan. But I'm telling you, when that man flipped out that chair that day, I thought I was going to scream. I thought I would scream. I just about lost it. That was my best day since Christmas. And that panic look that was on the face of the the other guy on the show. And I think I know what happened. I think he was a bit envious of this younger, good-looking guy that happened to be on his show. And because of that, he decided that the best thing he could do was throw himself, to the floor for sympathy. Let me see if I can find that, because it's one thing to talk about it, but it's a whole nother animal if you can share it. So let me see if I can find that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I think that he was trying to get attention, and the only way that he knew how was to viciously throw himself to the floor. It almost seemed like he got knocked out the chair. That's how bad it was. I don't blame him. I mean, the other guy, he's not the hottest thing you'll ever see, but he sure looked better than Eamon Holmes. Hold on. Wait for it. I'll find it. Mr. Big Stuff. Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff?
And this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in, that's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
Fine.
And so, look, there's...
Fine. I'm fine. Fine. I don't think you're fine, sir. You already in a wheelchair. How many how many more falls do you think you have at this point? Huh? How many more falls do you think you have? You already confined to a wheelchair, yet you throw yourself to the floor like that. Fine, fine, fine. Carry on. Fine, fine, fine. No, you're not fine. I mean, there's fine, and then there's aiming home, throwing himself from the chair. And then, of course, once he fell and they cut to go to commercial and come back, this is what we saw. Like any clown, he ended up with his feet up in the air. Moment aiming home, 65, falls off his chair live on GB News. 2 weeks after being rushed to hospital when he collapsed at home. Now, this man is a clinical nightmare. 1 minute, he's sitting up there in the chair looking at this younger and more attractive young man that they brought in there that day. And of course, I think he got a little jealous at how fit, young, and attractive this young man is. And so he decided to throw himself from the chair.
And this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in, that's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
And so, look,
Ta-da! Like any big goofy clown, he ends up inverted, flipped. I mean, it's almost as though he did a somersault, which is almost impossible from a seated position. And of course, they said that, well, those chairs are defective, and other people said they nearly fell out of the chair, to try to make that clown feel better. But somehow, this idiot literally threw himself to the floor. I just don't know how he did that. How in the world are you sitting in the chair talking 1 minute? There was no seismic activity. At least it wasn't before he hit the floor. I wonder what the people downstairs thought when they heard that horrible thud. Huh? What were the people on the lower level thinking when they heard that thud? Did they think it was the Blitz? Right? I'm pretty sure some of the older ones was like, but I thought we won the war.
And this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say,
look at his face.
Area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
Fine.
And so, look, there's
big clown. Good Lord. What some people won't do for attention. Don't they call that Baron Munchausen disorder? Baron Munchausen. No, wait a minute. It's some kind of disease, I think. Yo, it's called Munchausen. That's what they call it. It's just called Munchausen syndrome. Now, Munchausen syndrome is a rare psychological and behavioral condition in which somebody fabricates or induces symptoms of illness in themselves. Munchausen syndrome is named after German aristocrat Baron Munchausen, who became famous for telling wild, unbelievable tales about his exploits in past. Lying about symptoms, typically also lying about other aspects of their life, such as their past or level of education, manipulating test results to suggest the presence of symptoms, such as adding blood or urine samples, actually inflicting symptoms on themselves. Wait a minute, inflicting symptoms on themselves. How do you inflict a symptom upon yourself?
As they did with the Scunthorpe steelworks. So they came directly to say that's an area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget.
That's how you inflict a symptom upon yourself. You're in a seated position 1 minute, and next thing you know, you have your legs up in the air. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay. Well, sharing is caring. And because I care about you all, I thought I would share the symptoms of Munchausen disorder. That is self-inflicted pain. Ain't that something? Uh-oh. The condition is thought to be most common in white men ages between 30 and 50. It's unclear why this is the case. The cases of Munchausen syndrome is largely unknown. Most people who have been diagnosed with the condition refuse to accept any sort of psychiatric treatment. So little is known about their motives or thought processes. Also, very little is known why they choose to wear multicolored shoes and polka dot pants. It says so right there. Not really, it does say so. But okay, I'm just making that part up. But maybe that's what's wrong with him. Now, of course, I'm not a medical professional, and I am not qualified to, you know, to assess or what do you call it? Diagnose any types of ailments or diseases or syndromes. But it does make a compelling case, especially
Just carry on.
Will do very well as they.
When you see the look on this guy's face, this poor guy right here, what he must be thinking. Just because he come in there young and fit and has all that nice hair and, you know, and then there's poor Eamon Holmes, who looks like crap. As a matter of fact, not only does he look like crap, I always feel like I've seen him before. You know what I mean? I feel like I've seen him before, but where have I seen him? Where have I seen that pathetic face before? Oh. Oh, I know where. That's where I saw it before. That's where I saw it before. His twin, Sharon Osbourne. They look so much alike. Separated at birth. Both of them got it in for Meghan. but only one of them have difficulties staying in a seated position. Only one of them. Hey, Kim Coates. Oh, well, if you or anyone that you love seem to have inflicted pain upon yourself for unknown reasons, get some help. Really, get some help. That type of attention-seeking behavior will not be tolerated. Well, you know what they say. Oh, what a feeling when we're dancing on the ceiling. Maybe he wants to dance on the ceiling. Oh, boy. Poor Eamon. Anyway, I hope he's okay. I don't hate him. I definitely don't hate him, but truth about why Eamon Holmes fell off his chair, Katie Hine. Oh, there's a story behind that. When Eamon Holmes fell off his chair live on air at 6:15 a.m. yesterday, shocking his loyal viewers, there was an outpouring of concern. You mean to tell me his kids were up that early? Anyway, but for his GB News colleagues, it was a familiar scene, for he had toppled off. For he had toppled off his chair some weeks ago, too. Only then the cameras weren't rolling. Well, you know what that means. That means somebody was like, you know what? That shit was funny. We got to get this on tape. So they made sure that they kept the camera rolling. So the next time that happened, they would have something to send to one of those blooper reels or whatever. Okay, that makes sense now. Well, Eamon Holmes is going to have to work a little harder to keep his behind in the chair because, you know, he's getting on in the age and he's only got so many of these falls left. You know what I'm saying? The next time might be the last time. So if you're listening, Eamon Holmes, with your big clumsy ass, take heed because the next time might be your last time. You dig? I just don't understand. How do you go from this to that? Huh? How do you go from this to that? And that horrible crash. Oh, I mean, that noise just went right through me. Oh, well, I'll let him and the ancestors work that out. Big clumsy oaf. And of course, let us not forget old Tugboat Tommy, Meghan's father, Tugboat Tommy. The ancestors has dealt with him too. I mean, one minute he's down in Mexico living in his condominium, and next thing you know, he's over in the Philippines, laid up in some local hospital with a little pink bow on his head. And I think they did that to try to soften up his appearance so that he wouldn't look so scary. Because without that bow, he does look rather menacing. He's the kind of person that scares small children. I mean, I'm not even a kid and he scares me. So that's probably why they put that little bow in his head, just to soften up his appearance a bit. To take some of that gruff out of him. And of course, I know Meghan gets all the credit for having been a successful actress for all those years, but it runs in the family. Remember, we found out last year that Thomas Markle Sr. Is the love child of Otis the Wino and Aunt B. Life was not so dull on the set of the Andy Griffith Show as people would lead you to believe. At some point during the first or second season, a coy glance turned into something more. And the next thing you know, old tugboat Tommy came along. So, as much as I'd like to give Meghan credit for her 7 years on Suits, it's in the family DNA. Lex says, Amen broke the cardinal. Never become the story. Yes, that is a cardinal rule. You never want to become the story. And yet somehow, as they say in The Wiz, there he was, flat, splat, and stuck like that. Thank you, Legs, for the super chat. Yes, never become the story. Flat, splat, and stuck like that. Yep, Eveline. Remember Eveline turned those kids into graffiti? They said she caught us spraying on her playground walls. And so she turned us into graffiti. And there we were, flat, splat, and stuck like that. Catch this number, honey. Catch this number, honey. Anyway, let me see. I think I got a couple more things to cover here. Where did I leave off? That tugboat Tommy, he don't like cotton. Oh, tugboat Tommy, he don't like cotton. That tugboat Tommy, he says, is rotten. He don't like cotton. That old tugboat Tommy. Oh, Mike and Zara Tindall make under-the-radar trip to the U.S. to party in Texas and watch the Super Bowl in California. And, well, they're trying to make a story out of that. They say the Jet Set Royals had a raunchous night. No, I guess it's raucous, whatever. A raucous night out in Fort Worth before jetting into San Francisco for the Super Bowl. But did they visit Harry and Meghan? Well, apparently they're trying to tell people that they snubbed the Sussexes. Now, I don't know about you all, but I wouldn't want those two royal hillbillies anywhere near Harry and Meghan's house, okay? I wouldn't want those two trashy people anywhere near their house. I'm sorry, but I think they're kind of tacky and trashy. Like right here, Mike Tyndall expected to snub Prince Harry and Meghan after traveling to California. So please do. Please snub us. You with your slow hands and your wife with her tongue ring, just keep going to San Francisco. I'm sure you'll find people they have more in common with you. We don't want you anywhere near Montecito. Those are not the kind of people that are welcome in that zip code. So thank you, but no thanks. Snub us. You can have the last word. You can tell everybody that you snubbed us. But for God's sakes, do not show up at our door. Please. Plus, he's a lot closer to William. You can tell how close they are by the way William is digging his nails into his cousin-in-law's back. What man has not greeted a heterosexual relative without dragging their nails into their back? I'd like to know that. I think it's something that everybody is doing these days, especially if your name is William, the Prince of Wales. Everybody's doing that. So, with that, you guys, it has been 3 hours. I don't know where the time has gone, but that will conclude our broadcast day or night, depending on what time it is where you are. Do know that clan, oops, did I call them a clan again? Do know that family is going under. And I, for one, cannot wait to see it. It'll be the best thing I've seen since Eamon Holmes threw himself from that chair. Okay. But thank you all so much for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this the same safe space that it has been for, 4 or 5 years now? And thank you for whoever sent me the Girl Scout cookies. I'm embarrassed. I don't remember who sent them, but I did get them. And also I received a Valentine's Day card, which was very nice. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Love you guys. I will see you all next time. Oh, wait, what is this? Right. Who wants that trash close to home? Wait, I thought that Mike was close to William. Why would they go to Harry and Meghan's house in the first place? Additionally, to snub someone, you have to be invited. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. That is a great point. To snub someone, you must be invited. And there was no invitation forthwith, so there was no snub possible. Yeah, always bet on the Sussex squad. The squad always gets to the point, to the truth. Good night, cookies and cream. Good night, Sandra. Kim Coates. Monique, good night. Marshar, Legs. TVs, Candles, and who else? And everybody else. Oh, well, that didn't work. I think I have too many things open. Hold on a second.